Welcome to Learning Life Skills Together. This is our weekly community Zoom meeting where our guests help us to go deeper into the 4 life skills and open up a huge array of chances to practice them. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our weekly Zoom meeting. This is number 43 with Jan Michener of Arts Holding Hands and Hearts. And so Jan is an old hand at working with emotion regulation, at working with paying attention, which to me is the key thing that we're trying to work with in learning life skills together. And I think it's a key to what Jan is doing with AHHAH as her abbreviation of her organization would say. So I'm going to invite Jan to guide us in some kind of little practice, because we need it to settle in and then be able to listen.
Thank you, Don. So thank you for having me on your podcast today. I invite everyone, if it feels comfortable for you, is just bring awareness to this moment. And first, bringing awareness to your physical body, maybe feeling your feet touching the earth, the floor, maybe wiggling your toes in your shoes or barefoot if you are, and then just pressing the heels and the toes into the earth, feeling yourself grounded and rooted right here in this moment, in this space. And then if you're sitting, just notice also where your body is touching your chair. Again, feeling yourself supported, grounded right here, right now, in this moment. And then I invite you, if it feels comfortable, taking a deep breath in through your nose and slowly out through your lips as if you're blowing out a birthday candle. Taking one more slow, deep breath in through the nose if it's accessible, and a slow breath out through your lips, letting your breath gently calm your body, calm your mind. And then I invite you, just notice what thoughts are tumbling in your brain right now, and notice them without judgment, but with kindness and curiosity. I like to say we all have that thought worm that maybe keeps us up at night or wakes us up in the middle of the night. And we're told so often, oh, don't think about it. But the more we say told not to think about it, it just keeps swirling around. So I invite you, bring awareness, notice what thoughts are like swirling around like a snow globe in your brain. And then gently notice what emotions or feelings are attached to those thoughts. Again, notice them without judgment, but with curiosity. And then if you can, even name that emotion. I like to say, if we can name it, we can tame it. Taking another full, deep breath in through the nose and a slow breath out through the lips, letting it go, letting it be. One more full, deep breath in and a slow, full breath out. And then gently notice where those thoughts and those emotions have settled in your bodies. Our bodies hold our stories, hold our truth. Gently doing your own little body scan, noticing where those places that may be tight or tender, and noticing those places that might be loose and soft. Taking a full deep breath in and a slow breath out. Just gently bringing awareness to what is in this moment without judgment, but with kindness and curiosity. One more slow, deep breath in and a slow breath out. Bringing awareness to the present moment, being kind to yourself in this moment. One more slow, deep breath in and a slow breath out. And if you closed your eyes, I invite you to gently blink them and coming back fully aware and present in this moment.
And thank you for that. I needed that. And I have to say that the snow globe of my brain has settled quite a bit. Also noticed that I was really tense in my upper back and my neck. And just by sort of noticing that, it changed. It loosened up. So I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready to hear about AHHAH, and I'm ready to see, how what you're doing directly with kids might, sort of be inspiration to the parents and carers that our program, Learning Life Skills Together, is talking to and seeing how much the things that you're doing, the things that you're sort of putting forward that are really helpful to the youth are the things that we've been talking about for the past year of our Zoom meetings like this, being able to experience awe and beauty in art, in literature, those kinds of dimensions. Making use of how our bodies work to help us to calm down, whether it be in something disciplined like doing yoga or just going for a walk or a run or just dancing around your kitchen. Those things are really, really valuable to us, and I see them in what you're offering. And it's kind of the same thing, making things, and having a sense of belonging, having a sense of being in a community, which is so harmful to us not to have, and is the experience of so many people and so many of our youth. So I'd really like you to just take off and tell us maybe how AHHAH got started, where you came from, and how you have frankly blossomed into doing a lot of things, and with a lot of the stuff that I was talking about here.
Thank you, Don. It's I started AHHAH in 2013. Before that, my background is theater, film, but also in education. And I have a master's in education, and my thesis was, does an arts infused curriculum impact the success of children labeled at risk? And I also am a trained yoga instructor and a trained mindfulness instructor, but I knew I didn't want to just work in spas or the Ys. And so I had done yoga prison project training, yoga behind bars training, yoga gangster training, of looking at the philosophy beyond yoga and how that can be incorporated in working with youth that are incarcerated, but also youth that have experienced trauma and are having experienced the ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, but I also call it adverse community experiences of growing up in poverty, and adverse cultural experiences of racism. And in 2000, for 8 years, I was the master teaching artist at Philadelphia Young Playwrights and Philadelphia Theater Company. And I also started a program called Hands Across the Ages, bringing seniors and teenagers together to share their stories, to pick an issue they wanted to give voice to in the community, to open dialogue for change. And in 2012, I worked with the Philadelphia Senior Center and the World Communications Charter at the school, teenagers, and they picked the issue of bullying in schools and the issue of we need more arts education, not more guards with guns. And their piece was called I Am Living. And it was a very impactful piece, and it was performed at a sold-out audience at Suzanne Roberts Theater. Young and old shared how they had either been bullied at school or been a bully, not realizing just the impact of your words to hurt a person's soul. And, and so they became, the ambassadors to stop that. Well, shortly after, several of the inner city schools where I was teaching were closed. Shortly after that, money for the arts in the other inner city schools where I was teaching was taken away, because the arts are one of the first things taken away from schools of poverty. And I said, if you don't believe that children in poverty deserve an arts education and you're just going to funnel them into the prisons, then that's where we need to go. And they said, well, we don't go there. And I said, well, I guess I'll have to start my own organization. And so I get up early in the morning, I meditate, I journal, and I was journaling the first day I had quit, and literally the words, the AHHAH came across the page. And I said, what's AHHAH? And I kept journaling. It was Arts Holding Hands and Hearts. And I was like, well, that's my new organization. I went to teach the next morning because I taught sunrise yoga at 6 a.m. And I had some new people, which is kind of odd at 6 a.m. But afterwards I said, so can anyone get me into the prisons legally? And one of the people was a probation officer who said, do you know about the Chester County Youth Center around the corner? And to go contact Carrie Avery and Joe Frankenstein. And I said, what is this, a horror film? And anyway, I contacted them and said, I would like to start with a 6-week yoga program. And this was in 2013, before yoga and mindfulness were buzzwords. In fact, many people back then looked at it as, oh no, that's a religion, and it's we're even fearful of it, especially, the word yoga and what that is. And I said, let me just do it for free to see how, how if it can calm, especially youth, that everyone who is incarcerated is impacted by trauma. I can say across the board, being incarcerated is trauma. Don't even think about what got you there, just being there. It affects you mentally, emotionally, physically. And so I said, and let me just see if it works. I go, I've had the training, but I haven't actually done it. And within 6 weeks, it was reported that the less restraints were needed. And, when I first started, that the guards would be slamming doors and, doing all this. By the end, the guards were even sitting as we were doing the relaxation at the end. They were getting calmer. So it was making a difference both with the youth, but also with the staff that's around them.
Oh, I have to jump in here because that is so spectacular that the guards are doing the practice too in their own way. And just to tie this back to sort of why we're here, learning life skills together is really a way for parents and carers to work with the practices that the kids really need. And that changes everything, as you're saying, the whole atmosphere shifts when
Well,
everybody's doing it, so to speak. Yeah.
right. And where I knew that I needed to start first with the mindfulness, the yoga, the breathing. And what I do is very different than, like, I do teach, I was teaching at a spa and I do teach at other places, but it's everything AHHAH and our facilitators do is trauma informed. And understanding many yoga practices are trauma triggers. Is there are
Yes.
so many practices where you touch people, there is no touching, it's because you never know what someone has had. And it's sometimes you might go to a studio and their yoga is demands, do this, and it's all about what it looks like and holding. Ours is all by the language of inviting, the invitation. If it feels safe, try this. And it's about not what does it look like, how does it feel? That no one body is the same. We're all different. We each arrived here with different things. What are you feeling right now? That each moment is different, each day is different. And understanding, again, how our thoughts and our feelings impacts our body, but our body tells the truth. So, but it's about, first, it was about getting the regulation, the self-regulation, finding that safe space. And when you've had trauma, you disassociate from both yourself and from others. You don't, it's like you don't want to be open. So it's the mindfulness and the movement is creating that safe space, but it's the arts that build the connection. So that the mindfulness, first getting in touch with yourself, but through our sharing the arts and those programs, our writing, our art, is you find you're not alone in your pain, your suffering, and your joy. And you build the connections. And so after the 6 weeks, I said to Carrie Avery, what I really would like to do is do a 6-week writing program of writing for healing. And I go, but I need to bring in some teaching artists from Philadelphia that I had trained. And I go, my yoga teachers are wonderful. We have a thing in yoga called Siva, giving back, of service. I go, but I need to pay my teaching artists, the writing. And she
Right.
goes, well, you need to write a 6-week lesson plan and present it to Dr. Weaver at the Chester County Intermediate CCIU for Title I money. I said, no problem. I was a school teacher. I'll write the plan and everything. So we got Title I money, started a writing program, and we're the longest running program continuously at the Chester County Youth Center. We have 3 books out of the Justice Restored series. We just did Justice Restored 3.0 that was released in 2023. That's writings and poetry of youth that are incarcerated, and art that was created by Chester County Futures after school students that we worked with in Coatesville, Kennett, Oxford, and Phoenixville. We have a traveling art exhibit that has traveled around Chester County that's been at libraries, at YMCAs, at churches, and we've won numerous national awards for our programs at the Chester County Youth Center. And then what I've seen over now going on our 12th year, it is a revolving door. It is very easy to get into the carceral system, but it's very hard to get out. And we start incarcerating children at 10 years old. And for-profit prisons look at 3rd grade reading scores to decide where they'll put a new prison or detention center in 10 years. And research has shown that if you are not reading at fourth grade level by fourth grade, 1 in 4 children will either enter the welfare system or the carceral system. And if you are a child of color, 1 in 3 will enter the carceral system. And where we made our one of our bases was in Coatesville, because at the time, 40% of youth that were incarcerated at Chester County Youth Center were from Coatesville. And we wanted to see if we could change and help slow that trajectory. And then we started an after-school playwriting and yoga class at the middle school in 2013. And then we were told that children in kindergarten were being suspended. And I said, you know what? Middle school is too late. We need to reach the children 0 to 5. And we need to work with the parents as well. And we need to create ways of bringing the mindfulness, the regulation, both for the children, but also for their caregivers and for the teachers, of how to create that safe space and how to be able to, not attune when a child is acting up and joining them at that level, but how to create that calmness and understand that whatever the child is going on is real for them in this moment, but how to create calmness for yourself so you can be calm for them. And I like to say it's that my cup runneth over. And also about, I just got home from being in Texas this weekend, and where the airlines, says, put your own mask on before you try to put your child's mask on. Because if you're not calm and present, then you can't be there for them. That if you're not taking care of yourself first, and self-care is not selfish. Self-care is an act of love. Because if you're empty, if you have nothing to give, then your cup is empty and you can't be there. You can only give what you have. So it's always starting with taking care of yourself and being aware, how am I feeling? I need to take a moment. Then, when I get home, before I get out of that car, I pause. I feel my feet on the ground. I take 3 slow breaths. I call it the stop method. Stop what I'm doing. Take 3
Yes.
slow, deep breaths. Observe what I'm feeling inside. Oh, my heart is pounding. Is I'm gritting my teeth right now. Observe what's happening around me that's causing what's happening inside me. And then P, ask myself, what can I do in this present moment that will cause less stress for me and less stress for those around me, so I can proceed with more purpose and more presence in this present moment.
Thank you for that. We sort of live by the stop method in learning life skills together, and that is a perfect way of talking about it in the car before you go inside. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Because
That's
so we
it.
often run on, like I often say, when I started, I was often on autopilot. That I would get in the car and it was like, I got to get to where I go because I was teaching and I get there and I realize it's only by the grace of God that I got here, because I don't remember even, is after I
Yeah,
buckled and turned it on, I was just on, all right, where you're going is just get there, and that the yellow light used to mean put your pedal to the metal, get there till it turns through, red.
yeah.
And then it's down through mindfulness, or maybe it's my old age, but I slow down, and the red light is that moment of, oh, look what's around me, and I work with youth on probation. I have a filmmaking program that we're creating a documentary called Invisible No More. And we start with that circle of things that are your triggers. And I can't tell you how many of the teenage boys say, oh, it's those slow people in, driving, it's the slow people. And then I go, oh, I'm one of those slow people. I go, and where they honk, I wave to them, thanking them for I can go now, and but it's about it really is. If we're rushing, it's always rushing to get somewhere that we forget to experience where we are now, and
Yeah.
that it's by stopping. It's aha is about stopping, noticing those moments that I like to say cause us to take a deep breath and look and say, miracles are around us all the time. We just need to take the time to see them, you know,
Yeah, absolutely.
and to notice the little things that bring us joy, that make us smile. That it's the little things that make the difference. We're waiting for the big, us to get there, the big moments, but it's those little things that make our life.
Absolutely. You're preaching to the choir here. What we're all about is a few minutes here, a few minutes there, even for the practices that we're talking about. The stop practice does not take long to do, and it changes things, right? To take your child for a walk and just out the door, 5 minutes out, 5 minutes back, be together. You're not on screens. You're walking side by side and you're equal, and you can have that kind of conversation instead of the face-to-face conversation. That's so much different. Things start to shift just from doing these little things and noticing the little things. Oh, look at the bug. Right, as you're taking the 10-minute walk, look at the bug. Let's stop. Let's see what is he doing? What's happening here? Just that piece of paying attention to what's outside. That was really cool. How do you feel after watching that bug? I'm kind of feeling light and happy. What's going on with you? Real easy stuff. It's not brain surgery.
Yeah.
That's for
And
sure.
being open to play. I say
Yeah.
play is the most important because when we play, we're engaged and we're present, And I have my 3-year-old and 7-year-old grandsons live with me, and it's like, we every morning we have a dance party, we play hide and seek, and it's with 3-year-old, it's hi, I'm here, but
Yes.
you have to act like I don't see you, I don't see you, and then with the 7-year-old, oh, that's just a statue. I don't know where my grandson is, and it's like
Right.
play
Yeah.
along with them,
Yes.
and take
Totally.
moments, because they are so precious and they go so
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. Moments. So one of the things that AHHAH is involved in is reading. And that's extremely important. As you were saying, just what is the reading level of the child, and your inspiration to, we got to go all the way back. We got to start with these kids from 0 to 5 and have as much influence as we can. And so, could you talk a little bit about that and where that took you?
yeah. Well, AHA is the nonprofit that powers the Dolly Parton Imagination Library in Chester County, where every child from birth to age 5 is eligible to receive a free book every single month in the mail. So if you live in Chester County, or if you're a grandmother in Chester County, your child maybe not living in Chester County, but you do, and your child visits you, you're still eligible to sign up using your zip code. And I just want to give that is go to our website, www AHHAH, and that's AHHAH.org/CCIL, and that stands for the Chester County Imagination Library. And you'll get the registration form. And it's for, you may have 2, 3, 4 children under 5. Each one is eligible for you to register them, and each one will get a different book every single
Wow,
month in the mail.
that is fabulous.
And all
So,
the honor diversity and honor social
mm,
emotional learning. And people go, well, they're only, 2 months old or 4 months old. They can't read and everything. And it's
uh,
just about reading the book. I love, the books are by, I'm scooting down again, by age level. Like this one is Little Poems for Tiny Ears, and this is K for Kindness. And it's about AHHAH not only wants to make sure all children get the books, and this is all children in Chester County. And we're also working with our Senator Committee, Senator Kane, Representative Sappy. We've got an initiative now in the Senate and House to expand to all children in Pennsylvania. Because we want, there are 22 states that have it statewide, and we don't want Pennsylvania to be number 50. So we're
right.
working to make sure that all children, so even if you're not in Chester County, go online to register, and as soon as it opens up, you will be getting it. So, but it's what we have a book club for 2, 3, 4-year-olds. And in the book club, we, pick a different book from, that month or several months ahead. And we start by just asking, oh, what do you see? Oh, wow, I see a little kitty cat giving an elephant an ice cream cone. Oh, what kind of face is the cat making? That cat looks happy. What do you look like when you're happy? How do you think the elephant feels when a cat is giving them an ice cream cone? So it's about, what do you see? What do you feel? And then, asking questions and hearing what they say. I never thought about that. You're right, and so it's again creating a bond through literature. Oh, wait a minute. I see one little butterfly. What else do you see? Oh, I see 2 flowers. Again, mindfulness is paying attention to the present moment on purpose, without judgment, but with kindness and curiosity. And I like to say it's with a child's mind, like a little child. Everything is new and fresh and exciting and awesome. And so as adults, we've lost that. And so I love to have the children I work with become my teachers, that I learned from them to wake up, to be present, to be here, and to find joy in all the things around us.
Beautiful. Yes. So we will post the information that you just talked about for how people can sign up for the Chester County Imagination Library or the Pennsylvania Imagination Library.
And
We'll make sure everyone gets that information.
and also, AHHAH works with also our second base of operation is in Kennett Square. And in Kennett, we have a number of children that are ESL, English as Second Language. And we also, work with 40 different organizations in Chester County serving families and children. And in Southern Chester County, we work with organizations serving ESL families like the LCH, and we also the Phoenix Free Clinic. So what we're doing starting this Friday, we have permission from Penguin Publishers, who do all the Imagination Library books, that we are going to be doing bilingual recordings of the bilingual books. And each age group gets 2 bilingual books each year. So there are 10 bilingual books that AHHAH will be recording. And we're working with both, LCH and, Spanish native speaking speakers who will be working with us recording, but we're also working with teenagers. So each book first will be recorded bilingual together, the way it's written. Then there'll be a recording that just in Spanish, recording just in English, and then an art activity. We will record someone doing an art activity as an enrichment enhancement for the book. I know when we did this book for K is for Kindness, when we also did, I love this book, Ice Cream Face. The kids, we had, cut out ice cream cones and different colors of ice cream and sprinkles, and they got to put together their own ice cream cone, and then they got to pick someone they wanted to give their ice cream to, as being kind. So it was, the art, but reinforcing what is the, what is it we want to reinforce of us doing, being kind to each other, sharing with each other, and sharing our emotions as well, and knowing no emotion is bad. It's how we react, and what is it the emotion trying to tell us.
Wonderful. And so you're just now starting to talk about art projects and things like that. And so I'm wondering how, sort of the creative arts fit into what you're doing, and maybe beyond that, just the idea of making things, the idea of, as we might say professionally, having agency in the world. Being able to do something makes you feel so good. It's a real booster. So how does that get used?
Well, it's at the Chester County Youth Center. We have both Kathy Rinko is our certified art therapist, who's amazing. And each week is different themes exploring. I know we did about I matter, and everyone had a card about this big, and they drew what things about, how do you know you matter? What does that look like? And then we created a big board of we matter. Each person matters, and then we matter together.
Mm.
And we also in the writing workshop, I call it the four thumbs. Uh, uh, it's a tapping that we start as a warm up, and first is you cross your hands, which crossing your right brain with your left brain, and you're tapping the top of your kidney meridian, where when you get upset, you start to get little knots, and you hold your ears up here, and then you tap and you bring to mind that thought worm that's kept you up at night, and that's not letting you go to sleep, and you tap it, you bring it forward, and then you notice the emotion, and you go, even though I have this thought and I'm feeling these feelings, I choose to let them be so I can be here now. Then the next is we thump our thymus, that boosts our immune system, and we go, ah, and I say, ah, it's the sound of creation, but repeat after me. I have a voice. I am creative. I have something to say. I am impactful. Ah. So we do that, and then we tap our spleen and go, E, that makes us smile, reminding us to have fun. And then we tap the top of our stomach meridian that aids our digestion of our food and our thoughts. And then we let it go. We shake it out. But then we have a theme that where I come from. When you look at me, you see, if only you could see, and they write their poems, or they write a letter to someone that they wish they could say something that they never did say, of how much that person impacted their life, and we take those writings, those poems, with their permission. We type it up, we give it back to them and say, is this the way you wanted it to say? Is this what it looks like? And then we have a series of books called Justice Restored, Writings and Poetry of Youth that are incarcerated, and that are illustrated by youth at the Chester County Futures After School program that we ran the art programs in Coatesville, Kennett, Oxford, and Phoenixville. And we have a traveling art exhibit that has been traveling throughout Chester County. In last December, November, December, it was chosen by the Oxford Art Alliance for Emerging Artists Gallery. February, it was at the Coatesville YMCA for Black History Month, and the book and the artwork was celebrated for a Black artist, Black author event in Coatesville. We have the filmmaking program for youth on probation that is going into its third year, that we have a trailer that they made for the documentary that they'll be creating this year that was shown at the Uptown Performing Arts Center last June to over 150 people. And then it was just shown last month at State College for the Pennsylvania Police Chiefs Annual Conference. And the police chiefs were so impressed by what the youth said in the trailer, and they chose the 3 pillars that they wanted to focus on. The first one was the impact of juvenile incarceration on mental health. The second was the impact on relationships in the community, in the school, and in their homes. And then the third was the impact of the filmmaking program on their lives. That's changing their trajectories. And it's the impact of making art, knowing that what you have to say is important and that you have agency, but it's also about, we want to cultivate a communities of support and caring. And instead of saying, what did you do? To stop and ask, what did we not do as a community and as a society that has allowed this behavior to be there? And what can we do? As I call it, creating that basket of love, that when a child or youth falls into our basket, and I say now, jumps into it, because I got to say, the kids that are incarcerated tell me, when I get out, I want to come and be part of your program. I want to teach for you. And I say, I will make sure we have a space for you. So instead of that safety net that has all the holes where we lose so many children and families falling through, we're creating this basket of love. And at the bottom is a trampoline, so that when someone falls in, jumps in, instead of falling through, they're launched into a new trajectory, a trajectory of support, of love, and of hope.
Fabulous. That is, that sense of everyone together, the sense of belonging that you're generating is where our name comes from. Learning like skills together. It is the together part that really matters. When we're learning those life skills, we don't get them right all the time. And so we need the other people to be working on it too. And it's a bigger project than it's not a kid as a project. It's not a parent who's a project. It's everybody who's a project.
We have a program for girls in Coatesville called Step Up, Step Out. make a difference. I call it now step up, step out, speak out. And its abbreviation is SUSO. And it was started a year and a half ago when we were told, we need, AHHAH needs to do something for girls in Coatesville because girls in Coatesville were fighting. So we had a think tank, summer 23, and we had 12 girls that were part of the think tank. And we asked them, we said, this is the narrative on the street. And why is this? From your perspective, what's going on? Why is this happening? And, what's happening in your homes, in the community, in the schools, and what do you need to change it from? And what do you need to be supported and appreciated, and to know that you are important and that you make a difference? And they spoke, and we created a 30-week after-school program that we piloted last year. That's actually a 3-year pilot program where the girls from last year are our paid assistants this year. Next year, this summer, we'll be doing a 7-week restorative practice training for those girls. That then the following year, the 3rd year, they'll be our co-facilitators. Each year is doubling in the numbers, but I love that one of the girls, because the first 10 weeks is about self-care, resilience, and understanding the impact of trauma on your mind, on your body, on your behavior, and how often we are running when you've had trauma in your survival, in your downstairs brain, of the fight, flight, and freeze, and how it's you calm your mind, your body, so your amygdala, your fight, or flee, can calm, so your prefrontal cortex can connect, so you can choose how you respond instead of always reacting. And one of my girls in SUSO said, and we talk about, we practice when we're calm, because at the heat of the moment, you're in instinct. But the more you practice when you're calm, when your instinct is, maybe you're still responding the way you do because you've still had so much trauma, but you have the awareness, oh, yeah, I did that. And instead of beating yourself up, it's like, oh, I did that. Next time, let me try this. And one girl said, practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes possibilities. It makes the possibility that next time I will respond in a more calm way. Next time, maybe instead of reacting, the best thing is for me to walk away. So it's about, and there's no such thing as perfect. We're all full of possibilities. So it's like, what possibility do we want to explore, to move to?
So normally, I ask our guest at the end to give us some words of wisdom, and I think you already did that without my asking. I think that idea about practice and about what it can mean, and how it gets into us. That's the other thing. We just keep practicing, keep driving it into ourselves, and then we notice, oh, wait, that was slightly different than last time. Yeah, so really wonderful. Thank you so much for telling us about what AHHAH does. You do magnificent work. You really do. And
Thank you.
I'm very, very happy to know about what you're doing and to turn people on, particularly big space in my heart here for Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. What a terrific person Dolly is to have come up with that and to fund that in the way that she has. And I can't even imagine the ripple effect of all those children. And how many states did you say have it at the state level? 22?
22, and so we are working with our state legislation because it costs it's absolutely free for children and families. It costs AHHAH $2.50 per child each month, and we have over 9,000 children registered.
Yeah,
And so I want to give a big thank you to Justimere Foundation because they are the foundation that has made it possible and have
yeah.
donated over $300,000, and every single penny goes back into the books to that are being sent. You know, we pay the postage for every single one of those.
Right. You're just distributing
We're the
what Dolly's providing. Yeah,
right. The
yeah.
Dolly Parton Library, a foundation picks out the books each year. We get the list, and then we register, we do all the paperwork, and then we pay for the postage. So it's mailed directly to the child with their name on it. I can't tell you how many
Oh,
parents come and say how excited the
oh,
children get when they
oh, man.
get
Yeah,
their book delivered
that
to
is
them.
terrific.
But when it goes statewide, then our state government picks up 50% of it. So I say that, it's hopefully Justimere will be with us forever and ever. But by the state picking up 50%, then they have that money to go and spend on. They also help higher education, funding kids that can't fund it.
Mm,
They work with veterans. They are so amazing. I love Lori Cushman, who is the executive director for Justimere, and Shelby Bentley, who is in charge of the early childhood education division, for believing in AHHAH and believing in the Imagination Library and the work we're doing. And also to Senator Comita, Senator Kane, and Representative Sappy, who are the ones, who are the ones leading the in our Senate and House to make this statewide.
wonderful. And a shout out right now to Senator Comita, who helped us get started at learning life skills together. So wonderful to talk with you, wonderful to be with you. And I look forward to another conversation sometime.
Well, thank you very much, Don, and hope you have a wonderful day today full of miracles all over.
Thanks.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.